Hey guys, if you noticed, I recently deleted my video on Osama Bin Laden, confirmed the death video. There's a reason for that, and I'm making this video because I have to get my thoughts out. I hardly slept at all last night. I couldn't conscious in college this morning because I've just been having way too much stuff go on in my mind, and I have to put this in video format. I gotta go to school in an hour and a half, so I'm not gonna video edit this. It's gonna be just a whole video of me with edits and grammatical errors and mess-ups and screw-ups, so please bear with me. In any event, I'd just like to talk about Osama Bin Laden's death. For those of you who don't know about it, he was recently killed, and from that, America has been going insane. And when I say insane, I mean they're going to the point of outside the White House screaming, USA! 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 On top of that, there has been a massive amount of Christians on Facebook, and believe me, last night I saw 10 different statuses all saying, "I'm so happy Osama Bin Laden's dead! Rejoice! Rejoice! Rejoice!" And this video is mainly directed at Christians, but I mean it could be directed towards non-believers too. It doesn't really concern me. The point is, though, is that this rejoicing, this type of mentality that you have screaming outside the White House, USA, USA, and mainly these Christians who I know who are using Facebook and making all these statuses saying that they're happy he's dead, they're ignorant of what Scripture teaches. Yeah, I just said that. They're ignorant of their own Bible. I wonder if they actually read their own Bible, because let's look at a passage in the Bible, and this is in Proverbs 24, verses 17 and 18, but it's typically 17. This verse says, "When your enemy falls, do not rejoice. When he stumbles, do not let your heart be glad. Otherwise Yahweh will see, and it will be evil in his eyes, and he will turn his anger from him." So let me read that again. "When your enemy falls, do not rejoice. When he stumbles, do not let your heart be glad." Now, I don't know about you, but this verse is very straightforward. This verse is essentially saying in Proverbs 24:17 that we are not to rejoice when our enemy falls. And I'll be the first to admit Osama Bin Laden is an enemy to me. He was an enemy to most Americans in the United States of America. I admit that. He was an enemy. But the fact of the matter is, we Christians, or not just Christians, but the majority of Christians I know, and the people I've already argued over Facebook with, see nothing wrong with rejoicing over the fact that Osama Bin Laden is dead. They're celebrating his death. And I mean to the point where I'm seeing statuses almost every 10 or 15 minutes over Facebook, or random comments on Twitter and stuff. I don't have Twitter, but I still monitor it. And it's just crazy. This verse says right here, "When your enemy falls, do not rejoice." Now, why do you think it's actually saying that? Now, this is my personal interpretation of this passage, but when we as Christians rejoice when an enemy falls, and in this case is Osama Bin Laden, this is an act of pride and arrogance. Pride and arrogance. And you're like, what? How is rejoicing? Because ultimately, God is the person who destroys this evil. Wait, that didn't make sense. Remember, I'm not editing this, so this is just my random thoughts. How do I word this? It's an act of pride and arrogance. Because we're not fully relying on God, is how I see this. When we rejoice when an enemy falls, we're not giving God the actual glory. We're not giving God what he deserves. That still doesn't sound right, does it? How do I... Okay, just scrap that. Scrap everything I just said regarding the whole arrogance thing. I thought I was going somewhere with that, but, anyways, we as Christians should not be rejoicing over the fact that Osama Bin Laden is, in fact, dead. It's disturbing, for the most part. And number two, now there's a lot of people probably going to disagree with me on this, but The video which inspired my the video which inspired me to get my mind thinking was the video located here. You can watch that. This is what got me thinking about this issue. And I do agree with this video right here that claims that we are no different than the Afghan people. When the hijacking of the planes of 9/11 occurred and 2 planes were flown into the Twin Towers, the Muslim or radical Muslims, I don't know, the people in Afghanistan or the people behind that were screaming, "Death to America! Death to America! Death to America!" And we're doing the exact same thing. Although we're not saying death to Islam or death to, you know, the Afghan people or Muslims, we're doing a USA! USA! Essentially, as in the video right up here, it says, "Na na 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 na, look what we did, we killed your big fat leader, Al-Qaeda, ha 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 ha." That is the impression that it gives me, and I know a lot of people will disagree with me on this. In fact, I'm sure most everybody who watches this video is going to disagree with me, and that's fine. And I'll be the odd one that stands out, because I believe it is wrong for Christians to be rejoicing at the fact that he is dead. Yes, I am thankful that this evil man was eliminated, but I am not going to rejoice. I am not going to rejoice at the fact that he is dead. I'm just not going to do that. And Scripture's clear. When your enemy falls, do not rejoice. I don't know how much clearer that can be for you people out there. If you're a Christian and you're rejoicing, re-examine your thoughts. Re-examine your brain and your motives for rejoicing over his death. And to sum this up, the video, which is still up in this corner right here, this is very true. He says a statement, Thoughtful Atheist, says a statement that a lot of Americans are built upon emotion instead of rational thought. I strongly agree with that. I mean, heck, I used to be one of those emotional type people who would base his arguments and base my happiness on emotions. In fact, one of my first relationship with a person was based mainly on my emotions and how I felt. I never made rational, logical arguments. I would always use my feelings and my emotions to appeal to this person, which, if you know anything about your emotions, yeah, I'm not even going to go there. You guys know what I'm talking about. In any event, you Christians need to stop rejoicing over this death. Scripture's very clear, and yeah, those are my messed up thoughts. Again, no editing, so if you get anything out of this, I'll be surprised, but by all means, I'm already sick and tired of seeing Christians rejoice over his death, and it's a shame that most Christians don't even know enough in their own Bible to know that this passage completely condemns us rejoicing over the fact that our enemy, Osama Bin Laden, has fallen. So with that said, peace out, guys.